Hello everybody, Jamie here from Start Riot, and welcome back to Think Punk It's Friday! Welcome to the slightly new look Thank Punk It's Friday. From now on, we're going to try and hear from the people that you want to hear from the most, the bands. This week we've got Thomson from Single Mothers talking about their second album, Our Pleasure. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We do this show every week. Tell all your friends about us. Make sure you like the video. This week, Queens of the Stone Age return with a new song, The Way You Used to Do. It's off their new album, Villains, which will be out August the 25th on Matador Records. This new album is produced by Mark Ronson, more known for his collaborations with Amy Winehouse and Bruno Mars than for his rock credentials, and to be honest, you can definitely hear his influence in this track. It's very repetitive, and it almost feels like they forgot to track the bass. Honestly, if Josh Homme didn't sing this song, I probably wouldn't guess that it was by Queens of the Stone Age. It's not a terrible song, it just doesn't sound like them, which I guess they're kind of going for. That's what you get when you hire Mark Ronson as a producer. You know, you definitely want to try something different. They have said that they want to move on from their sound, and if you don't progress from your sound, then what are you doing as a band? And I totally get that. It'll be interesting to see where this song fits in the context of the album. I don't really think that Queens of the Stone Age released a bad album necessarily, but I think it's safe to say that they peaked with Songs for the Deaf when Dave Grohl was drumming for them. They've announced a huge US tour in September and October, including a headline date at Chicago's Riot Fest, and then after that they'll be coming to the UK for a tour in November. Single Mother's second album, Our Pleasure, is out today on Dine Alone Records and Big Scary Monsters. We managed to catch up with Thomson from the band earlier this week to discuss the album. Here's what he had to say.
It's a little bit, I guess, maybe a tad more mature. Not really by design, it just turned out that way. The guitars are in tune this time, which is a plus. We just it's pretty similar. It's just us doing our thing. I think I have a predilection towards the pessimist side of me when I'm writing, and I probably am more of a cup half empty person in a lot of ways. But I think I was more angry. I was in a bit of a rut for a few years, just drinking too much and being broke and angry and living in London. And since then, I've moved on. I've stopped drinking for almost a year now, and I've calmed down a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I've just grown up a little bit for sure.
This album is actually produced by Wade McNeil of Alexis on Fire. Their last album, Negative Quality, still holds up as an absolutely incredible album. They don't have that many tour dates booked at the minute, but Drew did mention that they do have stuff to announce in the near future, so keep your eyes peeled. The Killers also return with a new song called The Man. It's off their upcoming 5th album, Wonderful Wonderful, which will be out at some point later this year. This song is disco as fuck. Is this what indie music is now? Just, we're all gonna sound like disco. It's not the best song I've ever heard, I'm not gonna lie. Again, I think the Killers definitely peaked with their first 2 albums. They get a lot of shit now, and they kind of deserve it for their 3rd and 4th albums, but their first 2 albums definitely still hold up. Absolutely brilliant. Another return, Death From Above have got a new song, Freeze Me. This is their first new material since 2014's The Physical World, which in turn was their first material for 10 years since 2004's You're a Woman, I'm a Machine. Fantastic album. Way back before Royal Blood, they proved that 2 pieces didn't have to sound like twee garage rock like the White Stripes. And this is an excellent return. All the energy and vocal power that they displayed on that fantastic 2004 album. They haven't detailed any album or tour plans as of yet, but they have promised that things are coming, so stay tuned. I think of all the indie and rock returns recently, think Arcade Fire and The Killers, Queens of Stone Age, I think this is the best one yet. Manchester Orchestra, after announcing their 5th album, A Black Mile to the Surface, will be out later this year, have announced a UK tour. They'll be returning to these shows in October and also doing some European dates in November. This is a full tour, cannot wait to see these guys live again. I've seen them so many times and they're always incredible live. Even better than on record, if you can believe that. There are about 10,000 albums out today, most of which we've already talked about, so I'll just run through them really quickly. Royal Blood's second album, How Do We Get So Dark, is is out today. Follows on from their debut self-titled album a few years ago, which was kind of great. The singles were fantastic. The album not as strong, and they've kind of got a lot of shit for being less cool than they were back then. They were kind of a hype band, and I think people have kind of seen through the hype a little bit, but the songs are still good. They've still got some really good singles. Whether they've got the depth to kind of last into the future is yet to be seen. I think this album will kind of be make or break for them, but they've just announced a huge arena tour, so probably make. And they've also announced they'll be supporting Queens of the Stone Age on that huge US tour, including playing venues like Madison Square Gardens, one of the biggest venues in the world. Don't think Royal Blood will be exactly struggling for success anytime soon. Hundredth released their fourth album, Rare, today on Hopeless Records. The once metalcore band have finalized their move into the emo shoegaze world with this fourth album, taking heavy inspiration from bands like My Bloody Valentine and Slowdive, also newer bands like Title Fight and Balance and Composure. If you're into any of those things, then I think this album will be for you. CKY released their album The Phoenix today. As we mentioned before, it's the first without the vocalist Darren Miller. The incredible Chon released their second album, Homie, today. Fans of math rock will not need me to explain who Chon are, but if you've not heard them before, they're mostly instrumental rock, which definitely sounds like a good soundtrack any video game from the 90s in the best way possible. Interestingly, the most recent song they released from it, Mayhew, features guest vocals from two R&B artists. You wouldn't necessarily pair Chon with that kind of music, but in the context of the songs, it completely works. They use loop pedals to loop the same mathy guitar parts over and over again, and it totally works as beats. I don't know why people don't do it more often. Bad Cop released their second album, Warriors, today. This is 90s influenced pop punk for fans of bands like Green Day, NoFX, or The Distillers. Silverstein released a new song, Lost Positives. It's from the emo stalwart's 9th album, Dead Reflections, which will be out on July the 14th on New Damage. The band have also announced they're coming to the UK in December. Charlie Bliss released a video for Western Mark. It's from the power pop band's debut album, Guppy, which was released a few months ago. They've also announced a UK tour this September. Leeds post-punk band Crumbs have released their song Cha Cha Feels. It's off their upcoming debut album, Mind Your Manners, which will be out 28th of July on Everything Sucks. They'll be supporting Kamikaze Girls and Nervous on the Leeds date of their tour. This is definitely one for fans of bands like La Tigra. Very heavy Riot Girl influences in this. And Manchester punk band Aerial Salad released a new song called Man Down. That'll be on their band's debut album Roach, which is out July the 1st on Plasterer Records. Guys, that's all for this week. Get your comments in below. What do you think of the new Queens of the Stone Age track? Do you think Death From Above is better than The Killers? Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. But for now, thank punk, it's Friday!